Hi, this channeling is going to be from Maa Kali, and for me, she is the source of all divinity, the divine mother who is capable of holding on to both extremes, of embodying both extremes and using them for preservation of dharma. Dharma is not religion, but what we are meant to do at a certain point of time, what we are supposed to do at a certain point of time in our lives, what we are born to do, so to speak, your sole purpose. Before we begin, I am paying my gratitude to her. I think this is going to be a wild ride, and I am really, really grateful to her for coming through. And there's a little story, backstory on how this channeling has come to be. Actually, I don't know anything that's going to come within next couple of hours when I will channel it, or maybe next couple of minutes when I will channel it. The only thing that she told me was that the message is to get in control of your life. That is what she said. But with exact amount of surrender that is needed, the detachment that is needed. And I have been practicing dhyan since a lot of years. So I think it was relatable for me. But it is very important for me as someone who channels or as someone who decides to put such a video on YouTube or any other platform or decides to talk about these things to be very clear about what I'm talking about, to be very certain about the message that I'm giving. And for that, I got a hit that there's this postcard box that I have, and intuitively, she asked me to pick a card from that postcard box. To my surprise, the card that came was of a lady from Saudi Arabia, this one. She is actually on the driver's seat. She's actually in control. And she is a woman's right activist, a human right activist, someone who is a proponent of freedom of speech. She has her own charity and basically a powerful woman, who has broken barriers, who decided to take control in her hands, who was not victimizing herself. For me, that is Shakti. That is what Kali stands for. Breaking those barriers, breaking those ceilings, breaking everything that stops you from becoming your best self. So I'm very grateful for this little message. Let me see what this card says. It says, in Manal's country, which is Saudi Arabia, women could not drive. You are free to roam these streets, said a voice in Manal's head. And she believed it. Even from jail, she knew nothing could stop the wheels that she had set in motion. Her activism helped change her government's mind. And it shows the power, that willpower that she had, which ended up changing laws. Standing up for so many people, she became this trailblazer, someone who left a path for others to follow. This for me is what Kalima teaches anyway, to come into your power, to be who you are. And I'm very grateful that I got to know about this wonderful woman, this very inspiring woman, because of this channeling and to begin this channeling. And I'm just in awe of Maa Kali and every other woman who decides to break the mold, who decides to get over everything that's stopping her, that's victimizing her, everything that she has been suffering so silently, and decides to speak against it, to rebel, even if in a very quiet way, even if in a very silent way. I hope Ma will come through with a lot of other messages, and I am ready to receive them. So, Ma Kali is the one who decides to bring chaos, raise hell for you to be at peace, for you to realize what true peace is, and for you to realize your true power. That it is not us who choose her, but she who chooses us. So, although she's called the goddess of destruction, the goddess of chaos, we miss seeing that she is also the goddess of void. This is where a lot of things are happening, where you are having sorrow, maybe illnesses, death, everything that's unexpected, something that you don't want to see, everything which is very overwhelming, not just to yourself, but also to other people, people that you know. Or maybe you check social media and you come across this news, which is very overwhelming. That is chaos, which is overstimulating and which leaves you wandering in sorrow for way too long. And also restless, I think that's the best way to put it. Anything that causes restlessness is chaos because it takes you away from your center. And this center, which is untouched, is the void. So Maa Kali, she doesn't just talk about chaos, which you can see is happening all around her. She also talks about peace, which is also very evident in the card. This peaceful smile that she's having, it shows that this hell was raised for peace to be. She creates that destruction, brings about that chaos, things that we don't want to face, things that we don't want to see, things that we don't want to come to terms with, because she wants peace for us, because she wants us to realize the void, the abyss, as people call it, the nothingness, because that is where everything springs from, the womb of creation. That is where we belong. And you must be wondering, what exactly is the point then? Why are we sent? Why are we made to go through all these experiences? And if we have to go back and merge, all these belief systems and different things that people believe in. Here, the idea is for you to realize that when you were created or when your soul came to be, if you don't believe in the idea of a creator, let's not go into that. It was perfect, flawless. As humans, we decided to bring up biases, superficial standards of perfection. As humanity kept growing from that one cosmic couple, let's say there was this first couple ever, Adam and Eve, or there must be someone, right, who ended up starting this world. The purity kept decreasing. Why? Because as the population increased, ego and all its negative emotions also increased. Jealousy, comparison, hatred, malice, everything kept increasing. So, to feel good about themselves, people started inventing differences. Because originally, when everyone comes, all of us are same. No matter which part of the world you are born in, you are not born with stamps. There is no stamp. But slowly you grow up in an environment and you are conditioned to believe certain things. Say if your family has a family enemy, even if that person has not done anything to you, you'll consider them as your enemy. Why? Because you were conditioned to believe that. Maybe that person is not wrong. Maybe it was the family who did something to them a couple of years ago and they were just retaliating to that particular thing. But here, you believe that the person is your enemy. Or say, the worst of its kind. People differentiate based on caste, creed, religion, oh my god, skin color, and so many other things, financial status, etc. Everything that you can think of. They keep on differentiating. Why? Because it gives them a superficial sense of superiority. It was Easter yesterday, and it was basically resurrection day of Jesus. He was very steadfast with his message of love, forgiveness, kindness. But what happened to him in the end? It shows what people can do to feel superior to others, what people can do to make sure that they are not rebelled against. World does not like truth. Truth frees you, but whosoever is not living in their truth will go to whatever length possible to make sure that you remain caged. They would want to cage you because they themselves don't want to leave their comfort zone. So they might make life a living hell for you as well. Why? Because they don't want to come into that truth. But Kali is not here to make you complacent. She says, even if someone does not like your truth, speak it, speak up. When we are very little, we start observing a lot of things around us. Let's say there's this little child who observes his parents fighting every single day, father and mother. They're fighting every single day, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this child is very little. He or she doesn't know that their fight is not because of the kid. But how will you explain that to this little child? The child will keep on blaming themselves subconsciously for all these fights. They'll think it would have been better had I not been here because maybe my mama and papa, they're fighting because of me. Maybe I am the reason. And they're fighting, and later, when they are okay with all the fight, when they are okay with making those baseless arguments, they tell the child to not speak, to keep the secrets hidden. Don't speak about this outside. Don't tell anybody about it. Slowly, this changes into emotional abuse, and the child says, okay, now since I have to keep secrets, because family secrets are to be kept in closed doors, which is also correct in a way. But here I'm talking about emotional abuse beyond a point. They learn to keep everything a secret. Whatever the child is feeling, he or she starts keeping it secret. So now this child grows up, gets bullied in school, and starts keeping secret from his parents. Later, with this trauma, he gets into a relationship. He keeps whatever he's facing in the relationship also very hidden. Even later, when he gets into, say, career, he keeps that stress to himself. Slowly, all these emotions, they get extremely bottled up. We talked about suppressed emotions in previous video as well. Maybe you can watch that also. So these suppressed emotions, they get out only on people who actually love them later, sometimes on themselves, unfortunately. So either these people, they give in to this sadness, this sorrow, this suppressed anger, rage, shame, anger, sadness, fear that they have within, take extreme steps because they forget how to communicate, let alone with others. This is to be done later. They forget how to talk to themselves as well. And when this happens, problems begin. These problems change into autoimmune diseases, they change into depression, mania, and so many other mental illnesses or even bodily illnesses. So, all these diseases that a person gets are because of these emotions. All these suppressed emotions, they create a negative self talk, and the child starts seeing themselves from the lens of society or their parents. Since beginning, they are told, oh, don't do that, don't do this, don't tell anybody that, you can't do this, you have to live according to this way. And then society has done all of that with your parents as well, by the way. Society has done all of that with everybody, each one of us. And it's so chaotic, as I said in the beginning, the chaos, that everybody is doing that to each other. Why do you think marriages fail? Why do you think the children don't have that beautiful, completely communicative, absolutely free relationship with their parents? Because unknowingly, parents might also project whatever they have been conditioned with onto their children, these projections. Because the only way of living that they know is this projection. They don't know that the times have changed and whatever they believe in is also conditioning. So I'm talking about the parents who are not, say, that self aware. There must be people who are very consciously parenting their children, which is great. So these projections, which were fed into them, become the reality of the child. And now child has absolutely forgotten what they are built for, what they are deep within. Let's say there's a storm and this is the eye of the storm. Kali creates this entire storm for you to realize that this is who you are, the beginning of it, which is silent. She shows you whatever is not real, whatever is chaos, so that you can find what is true, what is real, what is deep within. It's like going inside an ocean and finding a pearl. Do you think that a person who collects pearl, or there are people, who go, the divers who go and find those pearls, the oysters, do you think they find them in one go? Absolutely not. They keep going until they find one. That is what she wants us to do. To keep going within, to keep observing what exactly is the chaos around us so that we can find what it is not, which is us, ourselves, the void, which is free from all that chaos. No matter what is happening, this is us. And once you cut through that chaos with compassion and understanding that you are not alone in this, a lot of us have been through it. You cut through that illusion, you start getting glimpses of the void. You start feeling it, that peace which Ma wants to bring about. To realize that, as everyone says, that you are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience. So she wants you to realize that. And once you realize that all of this is happening because of, say, karma, conditioning, projections, and basically to wake you up, you realize that you are not all this. You are not it. You are much beyond it. And you start building that connection with the void, maybe through meditating, art, say, writing, journaling, anything that keeps you in that zone, that keeps you focused, takes you away from the chaos, and helps you see the reality for what it is, helps you get those emotions out, which you were asked not to speak up. There are so many people around us who have trauma of some kind, and because there's so much shame attached to it, they decide to keep it within themselves. And it makes me cry for them, because sometimes people who go through such things, they start thinking that it is because of them, maybe because they deserved it. Absolutely not. You don't have to keep that within you. Open yourself up. If you can't open yourself up to others, speak that to your journal. Have voice notes with yourself. Maybe delete them later. Do whatever you want, but get all those emotions out, because all that debris has to get out. You have to declutter. You have to have an empty room, let's say, to fill it with everything which gives you peace, which is not in resonance with your sorrow or negativity or anything that pulls you down, keeps you away from your power, because she doesn't like that. So she'll make sure that when she comes to your life, let's say, or her teachings come to your life, she'll throw everything that is not in resonance with you out of your life. And all of that will become very overwhelming, because you'll be like, what exactly is happening? Everything is completely in this self-destructive mode, one after other, one after other. There are tower moments every time. Whatever you believed of the world, of this beautiful hunky-dory place with unicorns, that vision, that rose-colored glass, it's shattered. Because now it is time to see what you truly are, what your soul song is, to know yourself a little better. Why exactly are you here? What your soul purpose is. Okay, I'm not a big believer that every soul, all of us, have this particular soul purpose that we need to find and everything. I think just being here is soul purpose enough. Being here and being in absolute union with ourselves, with our true selves, not our conditioned self, not the self, not the masks that we don for others. We all have masks. There are masks of being, say, complacent when you're not, masks of being evil, maybe when you are not. Everything that's untrue. We all operate from these masks to fit in, to make sure that we get that acceptance. Sometimes we think that that is the only way to be, because otherwise you'll be left alone. But if your karma has ripened and it is the time for you to wake up, to realize your true self, to realize who you truly are, all of these will fall off. Not of just yourself, but also of others, of everyone who was pretending to be who they are not around you. So, people, places, things, habits, everything will slowly start leaving your life. And it is painful. It really is. Because whatever trigger takes you towards spirituality, whether it's a shattered dream or a breakup or a death, illness, war, anything, it is something which completely shakes your soul. It's like shaking someone who is asleep to wake up. And it's very painful, very painful. Everyone who has been on the path knows what I'm talking about. So she gives this pain for you to realize that peace where no pain can reach. And when you look back after years of practice, say, when that divine love absolutely overpowers you, that what you thought to be extremely painful was actually what you maybe thought to be venom in your life, was actually a medicine. You know that venom or poison can be a medicine as well, right? There are so many medicines in which actual venom is put, traditional medicines, and then there's allopathy as well, and you'll be able to find that on the internet. That's what I mean. Even in Hinduism, everyone knows that when the process of Samudramanthan was carried out to extract the nectar out of it, which would immortalize the gods. And during that process, it was, I think, Vasuki, the serpent, who was coiled around this huge instrument which they were using to churn the ocean, the great churning of the ocean. Again, chaos. There were so many blessings that came out of it. Ma Lakshmi came out of it, the goddess of wealth. Before her, Kamdhenu, the cow of prosperity and abundance. So there were a lot of things that came, jewels and so many things. Since this serpent was extremely poisonous, it was leaving these fumes, poisonous and extremely hard to be around. So Lord Shiva had to come and he drank it, and that's how the churning was done properly without obstruction. So eventually Dhanvantari could come with the nectar, a pot of nectar in his hands, the medicine, which everyone was basically hankering after. And Dhanvantari is also the god of medicine. He has come up as well. Nice. Couple of days ago, it was her and him who came together. And I was not able to grasp the message. I just knew that she wants to talk about chaos coming before peace, destruction coming before generation. But I just didn't have the time to sit properly and channel. And also, there was a lot of construction going around my house, which is also chaotic, by the way. I think it's very metaphorical. So when they stopped constructing, they stopped, hammering the walls all day. It's only now when it is silent that I can create this, I can channel this in the piece that I wanted since morning for these messages to come through. So I think it's a beautiful channeling, and I'm loving it so far. Let's get back to it. So this pain, it becomes a medicine for your soul, because you realize how important it was to wake you up, or else you would have been trapped in that same cycle of abandonment, insecurity. Someone says, okay, you are fat, you are thin, you are tall, you are short, and you are dark skinned, you are too fair, you have this problem, that problem. Someone leaves you and you start thinking, okay, I must be worth abandoning, there must be something really wrong with me. Cycles of shame, which often come from your inner child. Parents have to be extremely conscious when they raise a child to not ingrain any kind of shame in that kid. So appreciate whatever your child is doing. Don't stop them from drawing on the walls. Don't stop them from being a child. Don't ask them to grow before their age, because that is what childhood is for. When they grow up, they are going to be adult and have their responsibilities anyway. And if they have a turbulent childhood, they'll turn out to be depressed adults. Or sometimes people get violent as well. Because all this sorrow, suppressed rage, anger, everything has to come out, right? So sometimes it comes as violence towards oneself or violence towards others. All these negative thoughts that we have, negative self-talk, it's also a violence towards ourselves. I have done that a lot of times. She is here to let you know that not only you are beyond it, but she gives you a chance to realize who you truly are. Your favorite instrument, movie, song, place, hobby. Make a list of all these things. Emotion, book, maybe person. Make a list and try to do more of that, because that is what she wants. She wants you to connect with yourself more and not with what others want you to do or be. But while doing that, also become conscious of what you are not. Maybe someone told you one day that you are not deserving of love, you are not beautiful, you are not kind, you are not this and that and everything, and you thought it to be your truth, which it is not. She wants you to find your own truth, to come in contact with your higher self and realize what it stands for. Write a letter to your future self, maybe 5 years down the line, automatically became 6. Let's say 6 years down the line. What is it saying to you? What has it released? What are the emotions that you are feeling right now that you don't want to feel? What are the things that you want to achieve right now that you have never worked on but you would like to achieve? What are the habits that you have right now that you don't want anymore? What kind of person would you want to be with? What are the things that you think you have suppressed within yourself but need to be spoken out loud? Write all of that. Speak all of that. Not to anybody else. Maybe just to yourself. Stand in front of a mirror. Say that. And if you can't do that, write them on a paper. That's what I do. Write them on a paper in detail as you would to the other person. Or let's say you wanted to say some things to certain people, but now they're not in the world or not in your world. There was breakup, separation. Unfortunately, they passed away. Whatever. Or they are in your life, but you don't want to talk to them. Write all of that. You didn't go through all this chaos and everything without a reason. You never did. So write that letter as you would say to them. And now say this to yourself, that I release this emotion. Go out in the open, in the sky, under the sky, and release it. Let it go. You'll be shocked by how liberating it'll be. If you are growing as a human being from within, nobody will care. You can work for, say, 5 years and you are progressing every single day. Slowly you are progressing every single day, but that is not visible to the world. One day when you shine, the entire world will come and say, oh, this is the overnight success. Nobody will see all those 5 years. They might even ridicule you, make fun of you. That's what the world is all about. But again, are we blaming that world? Absolutely not. Because all of these things, they happen to wake you up, as I said, to take responsibility of your life, come on the driver's seat of your life, to be that change maker, to do something that nobody in your family has done. So before you fight for the world, fight for yourself. How will you go outside and fight with all the evil that exists in the society if you cannot fight with yourself, if you can't fight your own demons? You have to start with those little acts of rebellion. She is not scared. If you don't want to meet somebody, say no. Learn to say no. Choose yourself, but with compassion, obviously. And if, despite making all the efforts, despite all the rebellion, despite speaking against whatever is wrong in your life, despite communication, despite all this, if you don't get something, then maybe it was never in your destiny. Maybe it was there to wake you up and make you learn how to rebel. Maybe next time that rebellion against everything that's wrong will come automatically and you won't have to work for it. Maybe that particular dream of yours was there just for that purpose and not to get fulfilled, not to get manifested into this reality. Maybe it was here just to teach you that lesson. So communicate, whether it's with your parents or with your friends, I don't know, yourself, whosoever. The list is infinite. You know who. For you only to dictate what is going to happen with you in future. Although even you don't know, but to make your choices yourself, to not get into that karma, that that loop of blaming and saving others, especially the parents or anybody, from committing those crimes. Because even if stopping you is not a crime in eyes of, say, the government, whether it's a marriage or a child or anything, you know what I mean. Even if that person who is stopping you from expressing your truth, of being in your authenticity and reaching fulfillment, doing something that makes you feel absolutely abundant, it is a crime in cosmic sense. So, although someone else who is operating from that conditioning, from that belief system, they are still committing a crime as per karma. When you try to take control of somebody else's life in whatever way possible, ask her to give the reins of your life to you if you don't have a way. And if you know that there is a way, find it. She'll help you find it. Let that chaos happen to find your center, to find your true self, to find what you stand for, what your truth is beyond your labels. And if that chaos is already happening, this is not the time to act. You sit in the center of the storm and wait for it to pass, because it will. You set those things in motion, right? This chaos can be extremely overwhelming for some people, and not everybody can handle it, only the strong ones. But when she is here, it means that this message, obviously, it is only for the strongest of people who will ever come across it, who are made and who are chosen to be in their true power. Don't fear expansion of your soul. It reminds me of a beautiful sculpture in New York by Paige Bradley, and it's of a lady with cracks sitting with her arms open, and light comes through those cracks. Let yourself be that. Let that light shine through those cracks. Let yourself expand. I think all of us have heard the story of Ugly Duckling. If you haven't, maybe you can check on children's channel on YouTube, where a duck ends up hatching 4 eggs, where 3 are ducks and 1 is of a swan. But she doesn't know. So this one, although mingles with all these, there's this absurd amount of projection by other ducks around this duck, this mother duck, which says, okay, this child of yours is very ugly, this is not one of our kind, it's of no good, and everything. So this duckling is being fed that hate, that insecurity already, right? But mother duck says, okay, the child will come around, he's still a little baby, and all those things. Slowly, she starts realizing that it might never change, because this duckling is actually very different than her other babies. She asks this baby, ugly duckling, let's call it that right now, to go away. Then it goes to a farm, I think, and ends up finding wild geese who say, "Oh, you're too ugly. You're not one of our kind. Stay away." So, although he stays in the farm, he stays away from this tribe who was very unwelcoming because they had this superiority complex of being very fierce and whatever. He goes to this little hut which was on the farm because there was storm one day, and there was this old lady, a hen, and a cat. This hen, while talking to it once, says that, "Look at me, I can lay beautiful eggs. You can't do that." This cat says that, "Look at me, my coat is very nice. You can't do that. You don't have that coat." And this lady says, "You can't lay eggs, and you are not even pretty. I can't have you. You can't catch mice. You are of no use to me. Go away." And while on this farm, this duckling, it tells this hen that he wants to swim. And this hen says, "Oh, swim? This lady will never let you swim because you will drown." Chickens can't swim, I think. Maybe that's why this portion of the story was written. But whatever. This means that this hen was projecting its own insecurity, whatever it can't do on this little duckling. Then it goes away again and reaches this little swamp. Then one day, this duckling sees beautiful birds, huge birds, white birds fly by. And it says, "If I come in front of them, they'll ridicule me. They'll think that I am the most ugly creature ever." So it hides itself behind the bushes in the swamp and keeps himself hidden. But later, one day, when it grows, seasons after seasons have passed by the way. Now, this little ugly duckling has grown up and it sees its reflection in the swamp and sees that it is this beautiful bird, very similar to these beautiful birds that were flying. And he even feels shy about it. The other birds spot him and they consider him to be one of their own. They all join, they swim together, and suddenly people start coming to those swans, to that swamp, and they start appreciating how beautiful this little swan is. Beautiful, beautiful story to understand conditioning and to not let what others tell us become our truth. I am not what you tell me I am. I am what I will find out who I am. Because I might be believing in your truth as my truth as of now. So if this conditioning, this insecurity has led you to patterns where you don't speak up, where you find it hard now to even speak up the things that are worth speaking for. If you find blockages while speaking up, say if you stutter, if you find it hard to write, if you get writer's block over and over again, if you can't let that energy flow through your throat chakra, then this is what the blockage is. You have to remove it. This desire to be hidden has to be completely abandoned because you deserve to be seen by the world. You have to be out in open. World has to see that you are not that ugly duckling. You are just not one of their kind. Even now, all these different animals and people represented, they were not wrong. They were just not this duckling's tribe. So they projected on this little duckling. And I'm still calling it duckling because until it became a swan, until it realized its own truth, saw its reflection, it considered itself to be a duckling. So only when you wake up, you find that you are not the duckling. You are not what people tell you you are. If you want to do something for the world, start doing it for yourself. Start by removing these blockages with journaling and getting that energy, that pent up debris out of yourself. I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. who said that even if world was to go to pieces tomorrow, which means that world will get destroyed tomorrow, I'll still plant my apple tree. So you're not late for anything. Everyone just has their own journey. So plant that apple tree today, not only for yourself, but for your future generations. Because if you clear that pattern, you will not project that same pattern onto your child. And the child will be able to have the fruits of this particular apple tree. If you have manifested some kind of bodily pain, go move your body and let that debris go. So that destruction is for you to find yourself. What a beautiful message it was today, and I am so grateful for it. To come to the driver's seat of your life, to come into your true power. Maybe your message or who you are is meant to reach across the world, because she is not from my country. She's from Middle East, and if she has come through with this example, then maybe your message is supposed to reach far and wide, because people even in, say, 10 countries away from her are getting inspired from her. The trailblazer, this fearlessness, it's amazing. So I think that is what the message was. And I am extremely grateful, extremely grateful to Ma for coming through and choosing to give us this message. It's just very important for all of us, especially women, to realize how important it is to come into our power, to realize who we truly are. That we can be Devi Sita and Maa Kali at the same time. We can be gentle and also wild at the same time. And I am just very grateful. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.